Hello, good people of YouTube. Welcome to episode 2 of YouTales, the show where I review stories on YouTube while trying not to be the worst show on the internet. Today, I wanted to showcase the workings of someone from the more edgy side of this land, Max G, otherwise known as the owner of the YouTube channel, Hot Diggity Demon. While I have not seen that much work from Max G, I know about what he's done. His works of adult literature, Jerry, Pony.Mauve, and wacky game jokes for kids are known for being a little more out there than some other people's work. Honestly, I don't mind his sense of humor at all. I like my grown-up cartoons so I like my salad, covered in raunch. However, out of everything that this, man has done, the most recognizable is none other than his magnum opus, Brain Dump. Brain Dump is a series with an interesting history, to say the least. It originally started off as a movie review show with a heavy focus on animation and comedy. That alone would warrant my recommendation, but the thing is, it's not alone. Eventually Brain Dump expanded into cartoon skits, and after that, it became a full-on animated cartoon series. The basic premise is still usually the same, with Max trying to talk about pop culture, but that's not the focus anymore. Ever since the Grinch video, Brain Dump has become one of the funniest, and weirdest, comedy channels that I have ever seen, and it's still the clickbaitiest too. You could say that I'm a supportive subscriber of the channel, which is why I've been excited to do this for a long time. Get ready for maximum goofiness, because the burns that this show has will leave you laughing. Time to clip show! First, the plots of Max G, the movie critic. Well, how do I put this? They're like if regular show only had Mordecai and Rigby, but if Mordecai was more goofy and they lived in an apartment together. What I mean is that they're creatively weird, but also planned out. The main videos that I'm reviewing are the 3 after Max's apology video, which was the video where the real show started. The rest of his Brain Dump episodes were, mostly, reviews of what were modern movies. But ever since that Grinch video, the show went on to mainly focus on comedy, and I consider these 3 videos to be the first 3 attempts of that. So, how are they? I honestly don't know. How are they? The plots here all roughly follow the same premise. Max G and his roommate, Goofball the goofy cartoon ghost, have a conversation. That's it. But it's what they talk about that makes eavesdropping so irresistible. For example, in the video Top 10 Reasons Why Garfield is Repugnant, Max and Goofball had a conversation where Goofball turns Max into a flat earther using the Socratic method. And it worked. Before that, Goofball told a questionably realistic, even by the show's standards, story about how he died. Before that, Max talked to Goofball about how he wants to have some more fun in his life rather than always stay in his apartment. So they both go to the astral plane of ascension and get the ultimate cosmic truth from the Clockwork Elves. Those videos exist. The imagination of these stories are one of Brain Dump's best strengths. I honestly don't think that I could come up with any of these ideas by myself, let alone make them this wild. However, while I'm being honest, I should probably mention that there is a reason that this cartoon is on the edgier side of YouTube. It doesn't really care if other people's feelings get hurt. I don't mean that it's deliberately offensive to stir up some controversy curry, but that it's a respectful kind of offensive. In that, it is mean, but there's always a point to the meanness and there's always a message that the show tries to get across. Besides, you probably won't get your feelings hurt unless you have really thin skin, which is likely, this is the internet, but just don't stay in your bubble and you'll be fine. To me, these stories are proof that you don't need no premise to have fun. If Max and Goofball can have an interesting conversation about cutlery every half a year, then I see no harm in letting them debate. However, if I had to critique one thing about the stories, it's that they can sometimes come to a complete halt, usually for the sake of a joke. This, to me, can just kill the current pace of the episode. And while it usually picks right back up from where it left off after the joke, it doesn't change the fact that those scenes can drag on for just a little too long. I don't know if I'm just not smart enough to understand, or if it's just a personal preference, but it's how I feel. Regardless, the rest of the show's writing is still fantastic. I didn't even touch on the Burnbot arc, which I am not going to spoil for you because you deserve to experience that blind. You thought those other plots were random? Wait until you watch the Sonic episode. Oh, wait, don't go to that episode right away. I need to give you directions first. Start at the Grinch episode and then go straight up until the apology video. Good, I didn't want you watching things out of order. Sorry for slowing down the video, but trust me, you'll be laughing. And now for the more goofy side of this talk show, the animation. You know how 2D animation is more expressive while 3D animation gives characters more weight, so it's really hard to find the balance between exaggeration and realism? Well, Max actually solved this problem that Hollywood is ignoring. If people like 2D animation because it's expressive, then just make all of the expressions 2D. In a really bold decision for an internet show of all things, Braindump mixes 2D and 3D animation into one living Saturday morning cartoon world. All of the environments are completely 3D, barring a few 2D posters, but the characters themselves embrace both dimensions. They're all mixes of animation, but in completely different ways. Max has a 3D body with a 2D face, which gives him the stature of a grown introvert with the expressions of Ren and Stimpy. Goofball is completely animated in 2D but projects blue light around the 3D environment, giving him the ability to exaggerate while making him seem connected to the world. Burmbot, Max's good friend and lovely personal assistant TV, is a 3D cube, but has a wide 2D screen that allows for big facial expressions, as well as clever visual accompaniment. Oh yeah, and then there's Max's cat, Adolf. Yes, that is his real name. He's just a 3D model, but he moves realistically and has a great sense of comedic timing about him. It's also a treat to watch his meows get Google translated into insults towards Max, only for Max to think of them as compliments. Some nice little snippets of extra comedy, assuming that you're into that kind of stuff. Regardless, I'm really impressed. While 3D animation would have been enough for me to call this exceptional, the fact that both kinds of animation are used together, and that they're used together so well, is what gets me to say that this show's looks are truly unforgettable. And even if the frame rate is a little bit choppy at times, I might even go as far as to say that this show's animation is perfection. Just what I want to see out of YouTube. High quality, creative, detailed animation. To think that this website started off with nothing but Flash animations. Now that's progress. At last, we reach the core of Braindump, burning with passionate heart and quality. The characters. There are three main characters, to me, each representing the parts of the brain. Max G, the superego, with his dedication to the show and moxie to reach the end of his script is a good guy to look up to if you're struggling with a lack of motivation or dedication. However, he does have a big temper on him and he's never in control of the situation anymore. That honor would go to Goofball, the id, with his passion for distraction and love of comedic chaos. He's usually the one that leads the talks of the shows, and knows how to surprise, but he can go too far sometimes, at least with Max. Finally, the ego, Burmbot, with her cybernetic sass and logical insult generator program mostly serves as a tech support, in the form of the aforementioned clever visual accompaniment and, in my headcanon, the occasional music and occasional sound effects too. Plus she doesn't take sides with the other two, which can lead to some fun moments. However, she was a more prominent character before, ironically, the Burmbot arc. While she apparently still has adventures according to the descriptions, nowadays she just sticks to that tech support role in the videos and, frankly, kind of feels more like an object than a character. It's a shame too, because, wait, I probably shouldn't say it now. Oh yeah, and then there's Adolf. Yes, that is his real name. Yeah, Adolf just does what he wants. Like a cat, which he is. Regardless, the main dynamic between this apartment-sized cast of cartoon characters leads to a lot of funny back and forth. Yet, with all of this comedy, the show can also get a little dramatic at times too, and in the case of the recent Dream video, really dramatic. Again, I am not spoiling that, it is too good to be spoiled, but I will say that Max and Goofball might be at their best over there. The main duo of the whole show are Max and Goofball, and they really do deserve the spotlights that they have. I know that I've already gone on about what they're talking about, but it's how they talk that really makes you a fan of the show. It's hard to explain, but the conversations between them are realistic in that cartoon characters are having a believable talk with each other. It's like a cartoon crossover, in that you're always excited to see how two personalities that you like bounce off of each other. Just listen to them talk and you'll understand what I'm saying.
You can't give somebody a hallucinogenic drug without their permission.
Why not?
Well, for starters, it's incredibly illegal.
It is?
Yes! Goofball, just do it again. Unless you can't.
I don't have anything to prove to you!
Which is exactly what you would say if you were incapable of proving something to me.
The optics of which would be concerning if I cared what you think, which I don't.
Why are you always so difficult?
I think this is the astral plane of ascension.
Well, how long are we gonna be here?
Well, it's the astral plane of ascension, so... I don't know, eternity?
Oh, is that all? And to think I was worried. Oh, okay. Dog Day Afternoon.
Excuse me?
It's a movie with Al Pacino. It's a great movie. It's a movie I think everybody should watch. But it didn't happen to you because it's a movie.
Well, Well, I've never heard of this movie. I suppose they must have based it on my life.
Goofball, Dog Day Afternoon came out 45 years ago.
Well, maybe I died 46 years ago.
Just how? It's also pretty funny when other characters come into the mix and offer more comedy. And the chats usually become really interesting with their personalities thrown onto the board. Just, what can I even say at this point? Some people might be fun to talk to, but with Brain Dump, everyone's fun to listen to. Well, I certainly dumped my brain just now. I know that this review was a lot, but that's what Brain Dump is. Brain Dump is a lot, but not just in quantity, it's a lot in quality too. From the creative stories to the mixed 2D and 3D animation to the lovable and complex characters. Brain Dump is one of the smartest online shows that I have ever seen. While it can be a little too chaotic on occasion, and even slow sometimes, it is far, far from the worst show on the internet. And I believe that it is absolutely worth your time. If not for just how strange it is. You don't have to watch the 10-minute episodes, the channel has plenty of 5-minute reviews too, and miraculously, they all have the same genius to them. Happy watching, I know you'll see what I mean. Enjoy yourselves, Max G, Goofball, Burmbot. You certainly taught me about comedy. Have a great whenever, everybody!
Go to jail, you Netflix cuties watching ass freak. All right, that's an insult.